It's Friday, March 8th, and we're in the 50s. We had a frost last night down into the 30s. So the maple sap is really flowing, I guess, right now. And this is my time of day. And it's been a busy week. I haven't really had time to chill out with the dogs much. Just a couple of little cuddle sessions with Spike and Luna. We got a lot done this week. We moved the cows with the help of our two interns from St. Lawrence University, Finn and Sam. Hey, this is Mark, Shepard Healing Pastures, the farm church. And today we're doing a little prayer work with some cows, which means we are praying they don't get out. And got a couple of interns here, Finn and Sam. And we got Corey right there. And Corey's gonna lead them. And the boys are going to take up the rear, so if the cows change their mind, they'll go, oh, who are those strange people? Let's keep going forward. And we have a bale, and so I'm gonna go maybe up on this rock. And the fence is not live, but the cows don't know that. So yeah, so if you guys kind of go around behind them, I'll switch this. Come on. So here they come. This is the hardest part. They don't like narrow. Come on. The question is, will they wait for Corey or will they push ahead?
Come on, it's okay.
It's interesting, Spike and Luna are just sitting there barking at him. But the young ones are really jumping around. Look at them. I love, to me, that's why we're doing this, guys, is to have animals who are freaking happy. They're happy, we're happy. And yeah. So thanks guys for helping.
Of course.
Say hi to the folks at home. And then we delivered a bunch of hay bales to the cows in their new area, as well as to the sheep. And this is the farthest end of the sheep pasture. With the help of Adrian and Ashley on Thursday. And my friends at Adirondack Greenhouses are really, they're cranking up. They do this every spring, and every spring I get so inspired by A, how hard they work, and B, how brilliant they are at, they love their customers. They've created something that Stephanie and I have agreed, it's kind of a ministry, really. It's not just a business. And Gary and I are so alike in so many ways. We have different skill sets, but we both have kind of that entrepreneurial vision. And it's fun to just watch Gary envision the things that he wants to do. And he's been talking about doing microgreens for a couple years now, and he's pulled the trigger on that, and he's got the microgreens happening.
Arugula, gourmet mix. Green radish.
So are you doing these as microgreens?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Pea shoots coming.
And how are you going to sell them? What's your...
Little clamshells.
You got little clamshells. And, it's a challenge as far as adding new things on the farm because it takes more time, right? More time, more resources. And he and I both have a similar challenge in that we're good at doing stuff, but we're not so good at delegating, learning how to do that. And having the interns has been really helpful because I have to think, okay, what can I have them do for 2 hours, right? And so I gave them all a chance to drive the little tractor I have and to deliver hay. And so the reality is the plan is working. The plan is unfolding. And to me, I've never had more fun in a business. Now, are we there yet? Are we in the black yet? No. We still have a freezer full of pork, and we have beef left. We have a tiny little bit of lamb left. So we will have lamb in the summer. And since we freeze everything, we don't have to have lamb by Easter. It's not how we do it. The lamb will be ready when the lamb is ready. We're not going to torque ourselves around to try to have, fresh lamb at Easter. Not part of the plan. Other people can do that if they want. So, isn't he handsome? I cannot get enough of these dogs, I tell you. Just like, and the thing is, they don't live with me, so I have this every day to look forward to visit them with the sheep, and the joy that I have. Look at this guy. He's just so affectionate. And here's little boy, and here's Luna. Be nice, Luna. Be nice. What? You want rubs? You want cuddles and rubs? Yeah. All right. So, those are the thoughts I have at the moment. Boom. All right, I'm going to try this instead. So, Mark Shepard, Healing Pastures Farm on YouTube, healingpastures.org on the World Wide Web. And we are a regenerative agriculture enterprise that is spiritually, but not religiously, grounded. Because every time I get out in nature, every time I get out with the animals, I am stunned by the miracle of God's creation. I am stunned by the fact that lambs are born and they get up and walk moments later. Calves are born and they get up and walk moments later. I am stunned and humbled by the way the sun provides warmth and sustenance for us. The creatures that live on this planet, and you can just keep going down into the micro world, or you can keep going up into the macro world. Everywhere you look, it's a miracle to be alive. And one of the challenges we have on farms is that we are family businesses for the most part, and except in the industrial corporate agriculture world. And one of the challenges with family businesses is the personality dynamics, dealing with conflict, and people who are stubborn. And stubborn is good if it's the right kind of stubborn. Joel Salatin, who is one of my mentors, he's the editor of the Stockman Grass Farmer. And he mentioned this book, Stubborn, by A.D.D, Bobcaygeon, Junkin. And this book, he talks about how he came back from college and he wanted to continue the family farm, and he had new ideas, and his father and uncle and other relatives kind of gave him a hard time about it, until his uncle finally said, hey, let's give Andy, let's give him a field and let him show us what he can do. Let him implement these ideas, which is, I totally relate to that, because that's what I'm attempting to do. I'm attempting to demonstrate that the ideas that I've been researching and studying actually work. So he started out, and at one point his father got mad at him and ended up plowing his field under. And at that point, Andy went into the barn and put a rope over a beam and was prepared to hang himself. Managed to talk himself out of it. but he has not been back to his town of Bobcaygeon, Ontario since that day. And he loves his town so much that he's actually taken the name of the town, Bobcaygeon, as his middle name. And people call him Bobby. But anyway, Andy Junkin now travels all over the world helping farm families to get over their stuff so that they can actually be successful and profitable business enterprises. And so it can go from being my farm to our farm so that the next generation can step up and step in with the right tools, the right character, the right ways of thinking so that family farms can at least have a chance of thriving. So I highly recommend this book, Stubborn. I read it in one day while I was basically doing other things. I bruised my foot, and so while I was applying ice and heat to my foot, I was reading this book. So I was using my time wisely, which is a very important thing for me, to use my time wisely. So Stubborn by Andy Bobcaygeon Junkin, highly recommend it. Even if you're not a farmer but you're involved in a family business, it's simple, practical advice that I think any family business could use. And I'm talking to you. Yes, you. We all need to work on ourselves, people. We all need to work on our communications, how we deal with conflict, our bad habits. There's a lot that we can work on. And holding each other accountable in a business-like way is one key to success in the world. And we need more and more smaller family farms because the food system is fragile. Which brings me to the next book, and that is Homestead Tsunami by Joel Salatin. And Joel Salatin, as I mentioned, is one of my mentors. He's the editor of Stockman Grass Farmer, and he has talked frequently about how we are in the middle of a homesteading tsunami. More and more people, particularly starting out during the pandemic in 2020, realize that the food system is very fragile and that living in cities is a very fragile place to live. And so there's a movement actually back to the farm. There's movement back to the land. There's movement of people who are maybe just starting with chickens, but who are beginning to think in terms of raising their own food, not as a virtue signaling wokeness, but as a practical solution to uncertainty and the fear that the grocery store shelves might be empty at some point. Some black swan event can show up, and there's only 3 days of food supply left in any of our major cities. Pretty much after 3 days, if there's no new truckloads of stuff coming in, the warehouses will be empty, the shelves in the grocery stores will be empty, and people will be hungry. And it's not a conspiracy theory. It just makes a lot of sense. Plus, the food we grow ourselves tastes so much better, is so much healthier, and we respect it more. So one of the rites of spring, this is my theme today, I'm trying to work with this theme, the rites of spring, is that it's time to think about planting your garden. It's time to think about what your thoughts and goals are for the rest of the spring, summer, and fall, because winter's over. We've had the warmest winter on record, and climate change is a serious concern. We may be at a point of no return, or we may find ways to respond to it. This is one thing that I can do, is I can attempt to farm in a way that sequesters carbon and that supports myself and the people who kind of are on the same page with me. And, that includes my farming friends, Gary and Stephanie, and Brian and Lorraine, and Elliot and Mary across the street, and all the other folks, Corey and Sarah, and Ann and Mark, and all these different people who are actively engaged in growing their own food, who I've been hanging out with. We are considered to be perhaps crazy by people who don't grow food. And maybe we are. Maybe we are crazy. However, I think we might be some of the sanest people on the planet. I wanted to read a story from this book, the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. And it's a story that just haunts me. And so I wanted to read it real quick, and hopefully this is not too long. The story is called When the Waters Were Changed. Once upon a time, Kadir, the teacher of Moses, called upon mankind with a warning. At a certain date, he said, all the water in the world which had not been specially hoarded would disappear. It would then be renewed with different water, which would drive people mad. Only one man listened to the meaning of this advice. He collected water and went to a secure place where he stored it and waited for the water to change its character. On the appointed date, the stream stopped running, the wells went dry, and the man who had listened, seeing this happen, went to his retreat and drank his preserved water. When he saw from his security the waterfalls again beginning to flow, this man descended among the other sons of men. He found that they were thinking and talking in an entirely different way from before, yet had no memory of what had happened, nor of having been warned. When he tried to talk to them, he realized that they thought he was mad, and they showed hostility or compassion, but not understanding. At first he drank none of the new water, but went back to his concealment to draw on his supplies every day. Finally, however, he took the decision to drink the new water because he could not bear the loneliness of living, behaving, and thinking in a different way from everyone else. He drank the new water and became like the rest. Then he forgot about his own store of special water, and his fellows began to look upon him as a madman who had miraculously been restored to sanity. And that's from a book called Tales of the Dervishes by Idries Shah, 1967. So the thing is, I think it's kind of the other way around, in that some of us are going, the world is insane. Things are crazy. And maybe we need to get back to our roots, back to the rites of passage, back to spring, back to a time when we consider growing our own food, a time when we consider building community rather than isolating ourselves from the rest of the world. And those of us, maybe we're crazy, or maybe we're sane. I don't know. What do you think? Leave a comment in the comment section below. And if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. Please give it a thumbs up. Please also check out my Mark Shepard Songs YouTube channel. And if you haven't yet been to my website, go ahead, healingpastures.org, and you can check out the meat we have in our freezers. And if you are in the Albany, New York area, I do come to the Albany, New York area every first Sunday weekend. So if the first Sunday of the month is on the first day of the month, then I'll be there the last Friday. But I make my deliveries on Friday. Then I hang out with Ursula for a day. I get one day off a month. And then Sunday I do music at Unity Church in Albany. And then the second Saturday of the month, I'm doing music and program, and we're doing a potluck up here in Canton to celebrate and revive the idea of a farm church. And we're doing it temporarily at the Saphead Complex on Route 27. But as soon as we're out of the heating season, we'll be back at the Brick Chapel. and we will be continuing to bring in musicians and ideas, and I'm looking to create a couple of different funds. I'm looking to donate all of my future music royalties to this project, and yeah, a lot to say, and I talked way too long. And I'm not 100% convinced that this is what Sunday message should be. Hey, I feel a little logy today. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm not. I want to finish working on that song too. Yeah. Anyway, do you think I have A.D.D? I don't know. It's really windy out. It's warm though. It's gonna rain later. I just want to spend all day playing with my dogs. Is that okay? Blackbirds are back and they're singing in the trees. They're singing in the trees about the breeze. Blackbirds are back and they're singing in the trees. They're singing in the trees about the breeze. The blackbirds seem to know just how to melt the snow and to get the sun to stay. This may come as a shock, but they each must leave the flock and stake out their territory. Blackbirds are back and they're singing in the trees. They're singing in the trees about the breeze. Blackbirds are back and they're singing in the trees. They're singing in the trees about the breeze. The grass is turning green in patches by the road, and though it's cool, it isn't cold. And all the deer I've seen are so hungry for the green that it makes them rather bold. Blackbirds are back and they're singing in the trees. They're singing in the trees about the breeze. Blackbirds are back and they're singing in the trees. They're singing in the trees about the breeze. When the peepers start to sing, it's so encouraging, 'cause then you know it's really spring. When the peepers start their song, you know it won't be long till you'll be mowing your front lawn. Blackbirds are back and they're singing in the trees. They're singing in the trees about the breeze. Blackbirds are back and they're singing in the trees. They're singing in the trees about the breeze. Blackbirds are back and they're singing in the trees. They're singing in the trees about the breeze. Blackbirds are back and they're singing in the trees. They're singing in the trees about the breeze. Blackbirds are back and they're singing in the trees. They're singing in the trees about the breeze. Blackbirds are back and they're singing in the trees. They're singing in the trees about the breeze. Blackbirds are back and they're singing in the trees. So, a little bit scattered this week. Lots been going on, lots on my mind, and thanks so much for listening to the song and for hanging in with me. And definitely check out any of the books by Joel Salatin and the book Stubborn by A.D. Junkin. And just part of my family's craziness, good crazy, is that both my dad and my mom were avid readers, and particularly my dad was always reading to find out how to do things better. And to me, that's one of the greatest gifts he's given me as his child, and that hopefully I can pass on to somebody else, that there is so much knowledge in books. and I personally love to have a book in my hands, but there's a lot to be said. My sister and I were talking about this yesterday. There's a lot to be said for having a book in your phone as well, and to be able to read it anytime, any place, anywhere. So the bottom line is we have to continually improve not only ourselves, our relationships, how we grow food, but pretty much everything we do. If there's a better way to do it, let's do that. So sending out prayers to those who need help, sending out prayers to those who give help, sending out prayers to those who are willing to be stubborn in the right kind of way, and who are willing to be crazy in the right kind of way, and who are willing to learn from their mistakes and to admit their mistakes, and just to hold that space for each other so that we can make this world a better place and leave our children and our children's children a thriving, healthy planet. Peace, love, grooviness. Peace, love, and grooviness. That's it for this week. And the time change really hit me hard, I guess. I don't know. It just seems really, really early right now. So anyway, this is going up and out, and I will talk to you next time. Peace, love, grooviness. Amen. Boom.